example. And this time we're going to rebar, we're going to make a change to the rebar spec. Same network, so it's all the same. Nothing else is different. The rebar is near critical in the base. So rebar is down here. It's on the near critical path. As soon as they notice to proceed, they can start shop drawings approval, fabricate, deliver, and then tie the rebar. And so nothing's critical along this path until you get to tie the rebar. And that's critical because of the excavation. Still got a start activity, still have a completion activity, still record the completion in the pre-impact schedule. And so then we're kind of ready. We know what the critical paths are. We know that they're near critical. The model that we do is there's a rebar design change. That's going to require us to prepare new rebar shop drawings. We already have an activity in the schedule for reviewing and approving those shop drawings, so we don't need to add that. And this is still off in the future, so there's no start to any of these. But it's going to require getting new shop drawings from the fabricator. We know we got to change, and then submitting those new shop drawings. So now that interrupts the rebar shop drawings, the whole procurement. And the predecessor is rebar shop drawings, and that's going to step in and probably add some time, at least to that particular path. And then a successor would be to approve. No other relationships. And so now that we have the added fragnets, we recalculate with exactly the same data date. When we do that, we discover that the completion date has now changed to March 16th. And so we have to note that, compare that back against the original, which was March 11th. And there's a 5 calendar day critical path delay. So what happened there was whatever the float was available on that path of activities, the new change has eaten up some of that float, consumed some of that float, and extended the project beyond that. So now we're out here with an entitlement to 5 days. And so that's as clean as it is. It can be more complicated than that, but in general, if you have a good pre-impact schedule, you don't make any changes except the changes you make to model the change condition. The difference in the two calculations is pretty much the right extension of time that you're entitled to, because it will either eat up float if it's available or not. And the resultant is, the TIA conclusion. So now, we got to be sure we have a clear description of the critical path and how it changed so we can discuss that. But the process works whether you do that or not. And the beauty is that it does go look around, and if there's available float in the right path, it'll use all that up before it starts to show project delay. So it's a pretty efficient setup. In this case, it did consume all the float and then showed there's an